welcome to the show, y'all.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, y'all.
E-League
Get it, let's get it.
and Uncle Ron.
Let's go.
Keeping it 100, unfiltered. We the radio pundits and we're unfiltered. We gon' give it to you straight. The facts we can debate, but one false move and it's a checkmate. Ay, yes, we the radio pundits and we're
What's up, good people? It's another week, and it's another Unfiltered with Ernest, Jaylee, and Uncle Ron, along with Laurel. Today is a great day to be alive, and we're thankful to be back in your space for another round. It really does mean a lot for us to be able to reach so many people with what we're doing. We definitely do not take this for granted. We're thankful that our audience is also expanding, and our show is growing, y'all. We're now being broadcast also on the Rejoice America Radio Network as well. So we thank God for that new door and the new opportunity and the ones that are yet to come, y'all. So now with that being said, you already know that we still going to keep giving it to you straight with no chasers and straight to the point. But of course, we do it with our own unique brand and our own comedic humor and flow. So expect that to continue for sure. We have an assignment and we're definitely going to stay in the lane in which God has placed us. Now, what would this show be without these two illustrious co-hosts? I pulled out a big word this week, y'all. You know who they are. It's the distinguished gentleman, also known as Uncle Ron, and the young bull, the man, the myth, the mogul in the making, Mr. Laurel L.A. Bird. Woo, what's up, Unc, man? How it go, buddy? What's that?
It go. I'm just so honored that I am now considered to be illustrious. Bible says, what shall we say to these things? I don't know what, I'm just speechless. But all is well.
Well, you know, it's better than what they used to call the pastors, Doc, back in the day. Young, what they used to call them? Young and dynamic. Was it young and dynamic, or was it
dynamic and young?
No. Anyway, that's right. You know, wrong answer. Anyway, LA, man, what to do, fool? What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, back in here with y'all again, man. Let's get this show started. I ain't got time to be playing with y'all, man.
Oh, I got it. I know what it is, Ron. It's youthful and dynamic. Youthful and
youthful,
dynamic.
That's it. Right. Youthful and dynamic. Right.
Yeah, that's
it could be
what
16 years old.
Right. That's what you is, Uncle Ron. Youthful and dynamic.
Youthful and dynamic. Full of life. Joy.
Anyway, let's get this show on the road, y'all, because y'all ain't about to start with me this week. We have an excellent show lined up today for y'all. Of course, our special guest this week is Grammy Nominated singer-songwriter Mr. Jason Champion. He's going to stop by today and holler at us. Of course, we'll also hit some trending news, play some new indie music, and most definitely, you know, we're going to have some fun as only we can. So sit back, grab your favorite snack, and let someone know that Unfiltered is on the air, and it's about to go down, y'all. So remember, now if you want to catch up with our old shows, just simply log on to www.spreaker.com. Search Unfiltered with Ernest, Jaylee, and Uncle Ron, and you can connect right there. Also, for all the iPhone users of the world, you just simply go to the iTunes store and search the same name, and YouTube will be connected just like that, and all for free. Now, ain't that it?
Ain't it all right?
I am fired up. Okay, anyway, Uncle Ron. Well, before we get too silly, y'all, we have some sad news to report. Of course, the world knows that Aretha Franklin died this past week. And I just want to say, you know, from being from Detroit and just growing up in a musical household, listening to all the music that I used to hear. So I heard a lot of her songs. I think the first one I really took notice of was Freeway of Love. And of course, she was in the Blues Brothers movie. So, you know, I used to hear things, but it's like, man, you know, to actually get older and do what I do and see the effect that she had on people. And I heard someone say, I think Stevie Wonder said, he don't know anybody alive that really has not been affected, as far as musically, that hasn't been affected or affected by her voice and her style and what she brought to the table. So I just wanted to give my condolences to her families and prayers to her family for running her race and not giving up and going to the end. So, of course, she'll be missed, and we love her forever. Detroit Sound, Miss Aretha Franklin.
Well, you know, I'm the oldest one in this triangle right here, but I go back, way back to maybe like mid-60s, where I can recall Aretha's music being played, and she's definitely an icon, and certainly her music will be missed. I had the opportunity to minister with her. She did a Christmas show down at Cobo Hall. I think it was Cobo Hall. and she hired me as, guess what? A tambourine beater.
Really?
Oh yeah, and check this out. She paid me swell to beat that tambourine. I beat that tambourine like it had stole something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you still would be down there beating it if you could.
If I could, I sure would. Cause I ain't never got toe off like that for beating the tambourine, and I've been beating them all my life. You know what I'm saying? In all sincerity, though, she's definitely going to be missed, and I'm sure her music will live on. And we just thank God for the gift of music that she brought to this world.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Until you come back to me, that's what I'm gonna do.
Wow.
That's all I got to say. I love that song. That's my favorite Aretha song. And all I got to say after that is somebody check Stevie. Somebody check on Stevie. Okay?
We're going to put him in some bubble wrap, Doc, and hide
Yeah, put Stevie in some bubble wrap. He all we got left. They done took Prince, Rita gone. Auntie Rita gone!
You know what? I'm not about to do this job today. You know what? Pray for him, y'all. You going to be all right? You really shouldn't be driving right now. You need to just pull over, Doc.
I'm gonna pull over. They took Auntie Rita.
Anyway, this is where we turn Uncle Ron loose so he can let the spirit of petty rest, rule, and abide in his wonderful soul. Uncle Ron, man, go ahead and take us on down. What you got for us this week,
Well,
man?
let me just say, I'm going to be petty on two different accounts right now. Now, the one petty party that tickles me every time I saw it is when Riri was going into a room and Patti LaBelle was standing on the side and Patti went to touch her and she like turned her shoulder like, don't you even touch me. I love that. I play that back and forth.
I've never seen that.
You got to, I'll send you the link. But anyway, I'm just really amazed at how this even came about. But anyway, in Florida, there was a man who was charged with stabbing a man with scissors, but this is the crazy part. The man didn't have no arms. How about that?
Somebody take me now. Take me.
And this is, on the news, Reuters staff, so it's got to be legit. But he was a 46-year-old man. He was arrested in Miami Beach for stabbing this man with a pair of scissors. But guess what? He used his feet to do that.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine that. He's probably very ambidextrous.
And flexible.
Yeah. And he's a Florida native, and he stabbed a 22-year-old man twice with some scissors before, guess what? Running away. How you run away if you don't have no arms?
You know what? Wait a minute. I'm not trying to be mean, but if you let a man with no arms stab you, you need to check your reflexes. His reflexes are slow, Doc.
I ain't even got nothing to say about that one. That's ridiculous. That's stupid.
His motor skills are shut down on him, baby.
Again, how do you run and don't have no arms? Because I think you need arms to run, don't you?
Well, no, he can balance his body out.
I thought the arms brought balance. But anyway.
Lord, I'm not going there with these people tonight. I refuse. I've been saved for the last 2 weeks, and they trying to take me on down. Okay, we're going to finish Uncle Ron.
I'm going to just say this, because there's so much more to the story, but the guy, Crenshaw, told the police that he acted in self-defense. So I'm not really sure who made the first move or who tagged who. Well, I guess he didn't tag nobody because he didn't have no arms. But
you know what?
I just want to say, let's just keep their family in prayer.
Let's put them up in prayer, y'all. Keep them up in prayer.
So, my verbiage and my old adages, what kind of mess was that?
Acting in self-defense. Oh, my God.
And by the way, he was not under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of incident.
Oh, God.
But of course, he could not be reached for comment.
We gotta go because there's nothing else for me to add to that, y'all. So look, we're gonna get to some music and we'll be right back with more Unfiltered right after this. Keep it locked right here. And keep your hands in your pocket if you got arms.
Unstoppable, unstoppable. I live for him.
Hey everybody, this is Mary Wynn, and I'm locked into Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron on iworship96.com.
I am strong. I am powerful. Better than I was before. Hey, better than I was before. Ooh. I am blessed. I am victorious. Better than I was before. Said I'm better than I was before. Ooh. I am undisputed, undefeated. Every trial he succeeded, incomparable, conquered every foe. He is the great I am, the great I am. He came from heaven above. He shed his blood. He was the one who came and died for me. That's love. Said I'm feeling alright, and I'm gonna testify. I am strong. I am powerful. Better than I was before. Said I'm better than I was before. And I am blessed. I am victorious. Better than I was before. Said I'm better than I was before. I am willing to go all the way. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Whatever follows, I am. We'll come looking for you. Life is how you see it. You become what you believe. Above. He shed his blood. He was the one who came and died for me. That's love. That's what I feel alright. Let me testify. I am strong. I am powerful. Better than I was before. Said I'm better than I was before. I am blessed. I am victorious. Better than I was before.
I said I'm better than I was before. I'm thankful for the Christ in me. When I was in the tomb, he dug me up. Now I'm forever breathing, living also spiritually. My target is eternity. Stronger than I was before, so Satan's coming after me. A believer of his word, a victim of his grace. When I was at a wall, I couldn't picture seeing heaven's gate. Now I turned over the plate and making sure my path is straight. I refuse to be turned back when I get to heaven's place. I am.
Said I'm better than I was before. I'm so different. Life is better. I was seeing deep within, lost without a friend. But that's when the change began. He loosed the shackles. Now I can dance. Changed all my friends. Now all I do is win. And I can't stop now. No, I won't stop now. I'm better, 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 better. And I'm better, 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 better. Better than I was before. Better than I was before. Said I'm better than I was before. I am.
We the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
Hey, welcome back on Unfiltered. You are locked in now with Laurel on the trending topics for the week.
What's up, y'all? We're back, and you just heard I Am by Mary Wynn. And right before that was Unstoppable by my brother Ernest J. Lee. Now, let's get into some of these trending topics. Last week, the Queen Beyonce, along with her partner in crime, Jigga, took the stage in our hometown of Detroit, Michigan for the On the Run tour. Well, all the Snapchat and the Instagram snaps looked like they was, like they was having a good time, like it was a good time. But according to fans, they say Beyonce seemed like she slipped into a trance in the middle of her performance, and She looked like she was possessed by some type of evil spirit or something. I don't know, it sounded like some type of MK Ultra mind control stuff to me right there. That seemed to be happening a lot to these celebrities more and more, particularly black celebrities. Have been appearing to slip into trances on live TV. You know, that's some of that Hollywood stuff going on. This must be something in the Hollywood water. Anyways, in other news, Eddie Murphy, a king of comedy in his own time, is having his 10th kid. I don't even know how old Eddie Murphy is. He gotta be like in his 60s now. But he having his 10th kid with his 5th baby mama, Paige Butler, which looks to be a woman of European descent. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ebony and Ivory. Boy been having kids since the early 80s. You know, it's time to chill out, Eddie, please. It's time for the kids to have some kids. In other Trump news, former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, had a Twitter feed going crazy earlier this week when he said truth isn't truth in reference to Trump's Russia investigation on Meet the Press with Chuck Todd. Mayor Rudy says everybody has their own side to the truth, so what's really the truth? Let's not rush Trump into a lie under oath, which makes a lot of sense to me when you think about it, because you know Trump will lie up under oath if he got to. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know. Anyway, in some lighter news, rapper 2 Chainz got married earlier this week. Yep, that 40-year-old rapper tied the knot with his lady, Keisha Ward. And bro went all out. I'm talking about lions, tigers, bears. Oh my, I mean, he literally had a tiger at his wedding. Like, it was just crazy. I'm thinking like, man, you can't top that. Don't let your woman see the 2 Chainz wedding. They're gonna start looking up. It won't stuff like that. We can't afford no tiger, baby. We can't afford. Now I could get you some tiger skin, comforters or some leopard skin comforters, something like that, but not a real tiger. Okay, that's the trending topics for the day. With LA, go take it back to the show. Peace.
We the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
Hey, what up? This your boy James Wright from the band Sincere, and I'm locked into Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron.
Get funky.
It's 5 a.m. in the morning. Get on up. Give God the glory. No matter what the world may throw, you gotta know that you will win. Winning is the only way. Gotta get on my way. Don't go to the left. Don't go to the right. Walk straight. Stay on the path. No matter what they do, I'm here to stay. I will win. Even when it's not going my way. Yeah. Early in the morning, even in the noonday, late in the evening, I will win. I'm gonna push toward the mark. Do you feel me? Holla if you hear me. It's all working for my good. I'm excited. It's all good in the hood. Winning is the only way. Gotta get on my way. Don't go to the left. Don't go to the right. Walk straight. Stay on the back. Ooh, yeah. No matter what they do, I'm here to stay. Yeah. Oh, come on, I will. Even when it's Press toward the mark for the price of the higher. Call it in Jesus. I win. I win. Tell your neighbor. And no matter what comes, no matter what goes on, no matter what I gain, no matter what I lose, I still win. I still win. I press. I press. Ooh, yeah.
We're keeping it 100, unfiltered. We're the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
Hey, what's up, y'all? We're back live right here on Unfiltered with Ernest, J. Lee, and Uncle Ron. So, it's our endeavor on this show not only to highlight issues that affect our lives, but also great individuals who are pursuing their dreams and making an impact on the world with their gifts. Well, today is no exception, and I want to welcome one of those great individuals to the show. This guy's a singer, songwriter, Grammy nominee. I mean, the list goes on and on. You know him. I know him. We know him as Jason Champion. So let's welcome Jason Champion to the Unfiltered chat line today. Man, what's going on, brother?
Man, Brother Ernest, what's happening, man? It's good to be here. Thank you for the invite, man. And you make it sound too good when you introduce me like that. I'm like, what's that? I don't know that dude.
Yeah, right. No, you try it, man. Hey, well, if I know it, you know everybody else know it.
I appreciate you, man.
No problem, man. Look, man, I'm so glad that we was able to sit down tonight on the show, man, and kind of get into what you got going on. So, hey, let's get right to it. I'm sure there's not that many people who don't know who Jason Champion is. So why don't you go and tell the people that don't know who Jason Champion is?
Man, I feel like that thing for Ray Charles when he had just met, what's the lady name? Miss Shaw. And she was like, Ray Charles, who is he? I don't know. Hey, man, I have been doing this for quite some time, man. It's funny that you asked me that question. Just because somebody recognized me. I was at having dinner the other day, man, and I was actually at age 45. I'm divorced now, and I'm learning how to enjoy my own company.
Right.
When I was a child, I was younger, I didn't really see the value in spending time by yourself. I still don't. I can't say that I think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I understand that there's value in having some alone time.
Yeah,
so I took myself out to dinner, and I was sitting there, man, just enjoying myself and just enjoying the atmosphere. And a young man was walking past. He was part of a huge, looked like it appeared to be like some sort of birthday celebration. And he walked my way, and he was going towards the celebration. And I didn't think he was going to stop. He stopped, and he said, listen, man, you don't know me, but my brother, I am a huge fan. I love your music, Men at Large, your new gospel stuff. And so it just, it never ceases to amaze me, man, that how powerful of a medium music is, because this dude, I don't know this cat, I met him for the first time, but he knew my music and he knew the stuff that God had blessed me to do, for the last 27 years, man. And so, I'm grateful, man, to have this opportunity. I'm grateful to do what I do. Men at Large was a blessing in my life, man. A lot of people, your listeners may know me from Men at Large. And then Kirk Franklin and Dietrich Hatton. And then in 2007, God blessed me to have my own solo career, man. And that's been going pretty good. And I was away for 10 years. I don't know why it took so long, but God does. And finally, man, we're back, and I'm just grateful to be here, man.
Hey, that sounds like a journey, but see, that's what life is all about. You start at one place and you end up at another place, but along the way, it's so important to live your best life. Now, I know that's a real popular statement right now and a real popular, catchy cliche, but it's really true. And if you don't enjoy now, you got to enjoy the moments, man. I remember being in the studio with Fred Hammond in my younger days when I first started this. And he used to always say, as related to music now, but it's the same point I'm making. He used to say he could make the song perfect and it be like, no mistakes at all. But I remember him telling one artist in the studio one day, he said, yeah, we can make it perfect. He said, but that was such a great moment. And that has always stuck with me in life. He said, sometimes we try so hard to make everything correct and we forget to live in the moment. And so I tell that even when I'm producing, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we can make that better sometimes, but that moment, that energy, that flow right there was so great that we don't want to change that. So I admonish you, man, to just keep it up on that, because you'll find out a whole lot about yourself, spending time with yourself.
Man.
So listen, you mentioned Men at Large. What was it like transitioning from secular to gospel?
What was it like transitioning? Man, truth be told, I'm still transitioning. What I mean by that, man, is if I can just keep it all the way 100 on your show.
For sure, it's unfiltered. Go for it.
We put on facades and we put on airs and we put on these masks so that people won't see the real you, the real struggle, whatever it is that you go through day to day. To answer your question outright, the transition in the beginning was actually, man, it was pretty easy. And when I say easy, I just mean in the sense that, some people would find it embarrassing. Mm-hmm. When God called me out of Men at Large and I knew it was him, I had been accustomed to flying on private jets and having, thousands of dollars in my pocket, just doing whatever I wanted to, being an island unto myself with no accountability, nobody to answer to. Mm-hmm. And then when God called me out of that, man, I remember my grandmother was like, well, you got to get a job. I mean, it wasn't even a week since God had called me out of the group. And my grandmother was, if you going to live here, you got to get a job. I mean, like, just... She had no sympathy, no kind of nothing. She didn't feel sorry for me at all. So I remember just asking the Lord to lead me. And I got in my car one day, and I just started driving around. And wherever I felt led to stop is where I stopped. And the very last place that I stopped was a pastor, man. It was all God.
Wow.
He was a pastor, but he worked for a security company. And we talked a little bit. And he interviewed me right on the spot, man, and gave me the job to be a security guard for a facility that housed elderly people. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of days later, I remember going back to get my uniform. And he handed me this two-piece blue uniform, shirt and pair of pants. And I remember, man, just that was the first time that I had shed any emotion. I just stood there when he handed me that uniform and I just cried gutturally, man. He was like, "You okay? What's wrong?" And I just knew in that moment that Men at Large was really over and my life had just changed. I went from making maybe $8,000-$9,000 every weekend to he just gave me a job making $5.75 an hour.
Wow.
The transition to quit the group and to be obedient to the call of God was simple, because I knew he had made it so clear that was him, that I didn't want to play with that. But the transition from all of the things that I had to let go of, that was the money, the fame, the high lifestyle. That was difficult.
Wow. That is so amazing, though, that you had the wherewithal to follow through with it, because a lot of people, when they come from on high and they go down low, that's a like you just said, it's a rude awakening. So sometimes we don't have the faith to push us through that, because we start questioning, hey, now, Lord, why would you have me do this? And what's the reason why I'm doing that? But again, it sounds like an old thing to say, but God can't really get your attention when he wants it, when you got everything that you need right there. Because then you don't think you really need him. You know what I'm saying? So he moves some stuff out of the way for us to actually really get accustomed to what it is to be totally dependent on him. That's really what this faith thing is all about, man. So, I can appreciate that story, because again, transition is hard for anybody. When I moved from Detroit to Atlanta, I technically I tell people all the time, I've been here 5 years. But I really only technically been here 2, because I'm like, my heart still was in Detroit, and I still was going back and forth every other weekend to do this and do that. Just like you said, I was used to making a certain amount of money up there, down here I wasn't making that. So, it took me a minute to really trust God with even this transition. So I can understand and appreciate that for sure, because that's a major thing, man, to trust God totally.
Amen. Amen.
Now, I've been noticing on your social media that you've been on this journey, and I know you talked at large about it to other outlets and stuff like that, but kind of tell my audience, what has this weight loss journey been about, and what was the reason behind it?
April of 2017, I shot my video for my brand new single, which is Are You Ready?
Mm-hmm.
As I was going up and down the stairs, it's a rigorous thing, shooting videos. It looks cool, and it is cool, and it's a lot of fun. But,
right.
It's taxing because it's a lot of moving around, especially if you are the featured artist. It's a lot of moving around, a lot of changing, a lot of, walking into different parts of the set. So we filmed at this place here in Atlanta called the Green Manor, which is a wonderful restaurant. And where the holding room was down in the basement. And so it was, whenever it was time to shoot, we had to walk up the stairs and go, to wherever we had to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And doing that all day, I noticed a little tinge in my knee.
Wow.
And I didn't think nothing of it. And so a month later, it was still there. A month later, it was still there. And I just remember the Holy Spirit whispering to me like, yo, you can't take no pain medicine. It's the weight. It's the weight.
Wow.
And I reached out to my videographer who shot the video. His name is Derek Blanks. And I used to see him on Instagram working out. And I had reached out to people before, man, because when you have a struggle, you often have many attempts at overcoming the struggle because you desire to be different. You desire for it to change.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't desire it enough to make the commitment, so you continue to reach out to this one and to that one, and you try it for a little while, and then you fall off because your heart really ain't committed.
Right.
You want it, but your heart is not, your mind is not made up to the point where you say, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's only made up for a little while, but it's not made up for the long haul. So I reached out to people before, but I reached out to him, and I said, hey, man, I don't know if you know anything about nutrition or whatnot, but, obviously I need to get this weight off, man. And told him a little bit about my story. And he said, well, I don't know about nutrition, but let me get back to you. He called me a couple of days later and said he had spoken to his trainer, and that his trainer was more than eager to meet me and to, work with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was traveling to Cleveland. He called me on I think Thursday, and he said, well, we work out on, I think, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So well, I'm getting ready to go out of town, but when I come back, it's going down. It's always easy to make a plan when you ain't got to do nothing about it right away. When you got a little time in front of you,
right.
I'll be there, no doubt. And when that time comes, you're like, oh man, I really don't want to do this.
Right.
So when I got back to town from traveling, I said, I'm not calling him because I don't want to go to this gym. And if he don't call me, then it ain't no problem because I ain't going.
Right.
7 o'clock Monday night, I'm laying down eating a pint of ice cream, Ernest, a pint of ice cream, which was customary. I could do that 3 nights a week. And he called me and said, look, man, gym tomorrow, you'll be there. I said, man, I'll be there. I can't wait. I'm lying to my teeth. Hung up the phone, looked at that pint of ice cream and said, you know what? I'm going to be fat the rest of my life. It's just the way it is. I'm not going to fool myself. I'm not going to nobody's gym. There's no sense in me doing this at all.
Wow.
And ate my ice cream and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, I remember having the thought, I didn't say it out loud, but I mumbled it in my spirit. I said, Lord, I need to go to this gym, but I'm afraid that I'll fail again because I've fallen so many times. Wow. But I know I need to go. If you give me the strength, I'll go. Woke up at 7 o'clock that morning, got dressed, and went to the gym, worked out. The trainer put me on Instagram, and I didn't want to do that, but he was like, look, man, this is for your accountability.
Mm-hmm.
I got home after working out. I made it through. It was a tough day, obviously, because I hadn't been to the gym in years. Got home and saw the flood of encouragement from so many people on Instagram wishing me well. And I had already felt some kind of way because working out does something to your inside. It does something to the chemicals in your body. So I had already felt a sense of accomplishment. I felt overwhelmed. My heart was heavy, not with the burden, but it was heavy with emotion. I just felt so full of gratitude, and I couldn't explain it. And then when I read all the well wishes from people, I was sitting on my floor and I just started to cry because I was like, God, these people don't know me, but it's amazing how words have that much power coming even from strangers. Words of encouragement lifted my spirit and lifted my soul to the point where I wanted to go back. Not from them per se, but because I felt empowered. And so that's why I tell people all the time, watch what you say to people, especially people that you say you love, because words can carry and lift people into places of destiny. Just a small, kind word. You never know how much it will impact somebody. So I read these well wishes, and I didn't know if I was ever going to go back to the gym. Going into it, when I went, I said, I probably ain't coming back tomorrow. Mm-hmm. When I got home and read all those well wishes, man, it gave me the strength that I needed to go back. And I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, Ernest. My money was funny. I didn't know how I was going to get none of this done. I had to pay for the gym membership. But the trainer said, I'm not going to charge you, man. I see something in you, and I just want to be a blessing to you. All I had to do was take care of the gym membership. I called my record label. Warren Campbell was so excited that I was working out, man. He said, man, we're going to pay, the label is going to pay for your membership. So it just one thing led to another, and I've been on this journey for a year. And as I have read from other people who have been on this journey, there are dark days, there are bright days, there are dark days. Mm-hmm. And the last 8 weeks have been dark days because I have fallen back into those old habits of eating what I wanted to eat because I got complacent. And I just yesterday, man, my little brother called me Sunday night and said, look, man, we got stuff to do. We ain't got time to sit around here and be fat. Get your behind up and let's go. Tomorrow, no fast food, no candy, nothing, no soda. He said, get your butt up. And it was the clarion call that I needed to hear because I knew I needed to get back. But my brother told me, look, enough stuff. I went out yesterday, stocked up my refrigerator, and I'm back. I never was gone totally with my heart. My heart was committed to the process. I just understood that I was in a dark moment because I just had fallen off that high that I had. But I had never quit. My spirit had never quit. I was never in jeopardy of quitting, but I was in danger of being stagnant. And sometimes stagnation can be worse than quitting because you're just not moving at all. So I'm back, man. I'm down 30 pounds, and God is good, man. It's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a quick race. So I don't look at other people and their accomplishments. I'm running this race the best that I can, man. My father was 1,000 pounds when he died. He died on my 19th birthday. Literally 1,000 pounds, and 10 firefighters had to cut off the front window to get him out of the house. I never forget that. It left a very indelible impression upon me.
Well, that's amazing, man, and I'm be cheering you on, man. Now that I know the story behind it, man, it just kind of makes you feel like you connected to a person when you hear that story, and it connects with you in a place where it's like, hey, that's real. You need to cheer this person on because, again, God can't use us when we're not healthy, and that's one thing that people don't like to say, and it's not a mean thing to say, but it's the truth. I mean, if you don't feel good, man, you ain't gonna feel like going to minister. You ain't gonna feel like going to sing. You're not gonna feel like getting on the airplane. You're not gonna feel like getting on stage. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be 100 with it. Hey, God cannot use us when we're not healthy because we are total beings. And that's one thing I think church church misses sometimes too. You know, everybody's so spiritually minded, but it's like, hey, we got to minister to the natural person too. The person that wants to give up because they don't feel like they can lose weight, or the person that don't want to eat right, or the person that don't want to go get their checkup at the doctor. You know, we got to minister to that side of the human body too, because God needs to use a vessel that he can get glory out of. And listen, how can you tell a person to have discipline in their Christian walk and you don't have discipline when you eat?
Man, when I was younger, I used to look at people, overweight people, and being one of them, I used to think, how can these people pastor and lead a church with a good conscience and tell them what they need to do when you're so out of control, obviously, in your eating lifestyle? I used to think about it all the time.
Right. And we don't like to say it though, bro, because it's not, don't sound politically correct. But at the end of the day, man, we got to help somebody. And again, everybody's ministry is not behind the pulpit. So your ministry may be, God may have showed you something with those people cheering you on Instagram that, hey, you can reach people without being, in the pulpit or being behind the mic, just by your will and your tenacity in going after this weight loss. That is a ministry, because people are going to ask you, hey, man, how did you do it? Or they're watching you to see how you did it. And then that's when you turn around and say, hey, it's not only my will, but it's also the God in me. So it goes hand in hand, and we have to learn how to keep those two things to marry each other so we can go into our purpose, man. So, I'm cheering you on, man. Before I let you go now, I know I need to find out now, what is any new projects, any new music, what you got coming?
The single Are You Ready has been out for a while. It's doing really well chart-wise. The video for it is really, really cool. It's on YouTube. And we're getting ready to drop a second single in the next few weeks here. But the album is coming soon, man. We're just trying to, in this day and age, you don't release albums the way you used to release them back in the day. You kind of gauge what's going on with your single, and you kind of just survey the land. And anybody can release an album. You don't want to release it and people not even know you got an album out. It's a lot of people that drop albums every week and you don't even know.
You're right.
So we're trying to build a fan base so that when the album comes out, people say, hey, I got to have that record. So the new single will be out in a few weeks. Are You Ready is still doing well, and the album will be coming really, really soon.
The reason why I'm so glad you said what you just said is because that was my next thing. I don't understand why people don't understand that you have to study the market. Like you just, back in the day, you just drop a record, whatever, saying the whole record is out. But now you have to figure out what your target audience is, not just in your marketing, but some people you might think like a song may not, it may go a whole different way. So I wanted you to give, right. So that's why I asked you that, because I wanted you to give the listeners who may be aspiring to do what you do, give them a tidbit before we end this interview on how to really go about releasing music into the marketplace.
That's a good question, Ernest. Well, first of all, releasing music, you got to make sure that that's what you're called to do. A lot of people want to be, they want to be artists, and that's just not what they're called to do.
Right.
So you got to be sure that this is not just a desire, but rather that this is the call that God has placed over your life. And I know that sounds so churchy, but it's a very real thing. It's the truth, man. If God has not called you to something in I guess a more layman's way of saying called you, if God has not, when you were born, when God put you in your mama's womb, when he decided that you were going to be on this earth, there was all of us have a purpose and gifts that will facilitate our purpose. If your purpose is not, God didn't create you with the purpose to be an artist and to be a worship leader, then just because you like something doesn't give you the license to go do it. And so first I would just say that. And then secondly, if you are called to do this, try to position yourself the best that you can with the right people. The day of trying to shop your music and listen to my demo, I don't really think that day exists anymore. Like you said, you got to know the market. And I think what you better start doing is having a team of people, because doing it yourself these days is even better than having a record label.
Right.
Because all of the money you got to pay back to the label and just all of that kind of thing. If you got a good team of people, man, that believe in you, and you guys don't mind putting in the work and pounding the pavement, and I look at a guy like P.J. Morton. P.J. Morton a lot of people don't even know who PJ Morton is, man, but he's one of the most successful artists in music today.
You're right.
And PJ Morton, the son of Bishop Paul S. Morton, and he's been putting out records for years. I mean, he's probably got 10 to 12 albums, and he's been pounding the pavement. I'm putting out great music. And then when social media came along, I mean, he's just on social media, because really social media, that's another thing to people who are putting out music. Make social media your best friend. Use it for the good purpose that it was intended for, not for what it wasn't intended for.
Right.
Stay on social media, build your brand, promote what you got going on. And if it's good,
right,
people will find you if it's good.
That's right. Now you coming down my street. That's all I wanted you to say, because a lot of people don't understand, man. It's bigger than just, hey, I got a song, and check it out. You gotta, just because, you put it out there don't mean people gonna listen to it. You have to basically be your biggest supporter. You have, like you said, make social media your friend. I like that, because again, if you ain't excited about what you're doing, how you expect somebody else to be excited about it?
Right.
So, man, I'm so glad that you came. I'm so glad we got the chance to kick it, man, on Unfiltered today. And so I appreciate you, man. Jason Champion, everybody. Let's support his new single when it drops in a few weeks. And let's keep encouraging him on Instagram and on his social media with his weight loss journey. And we thank him for taking out the time to join us on Unfiltered today, bro. Hey, anytime, man, come back and holler at me, all right?
Hey, man, I appreciate it, Ernest. Thanks for having me.
No problem, brother.
Are you ready? It's almost time. Oh, he's coming back, y'all, like a thief in the night. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, now it may be morning, night or noon, I don't know, but it's gonna be soon. Are you ready? Are you ready? And when we all get to heaven, that's the day when we'll be shouting, oh, that's the day when that we're gonna be so glad, oh, we were ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Listen, do you know him as your King, Lord and Savior of everything? Are you ready? 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 When we all get up to heaven, that's the day when we'll all be shouting, 'cause we'll be so glad, oh, so glad we were ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? I can't wait for that day. No more trouble, it's all gone away. I can't wait to see my Savior's face. Are you ready? Are you ready? Would your soul be lost if he came back today? Oh, got my bags all ready, 'cause I don't wanna be day. I just wanna be ready on that day. Oh, be ready. Oh, be ready. Oh, be ready. And oh, be ready. Oh, be ready. Oh, be ready. Oh, when it cracks the sky. Oh, will we meet in the great dark night? I like that.
Yo, what's up, good people? This is Jason Champion, and right now I'm locked in to Unfiltered with my main man, Mr. Ernest J. Lee, and Uncle Ron. Don't go nowhere. It's hot. We'll be right back.
What's up, y'all? This your boy Larrell, co-host of the Unfiltered Show with Ernest, J. Lee, and Uncle Ron. Listen, do you have a new single that you want played on air? Well, send it in and let us check it out. We're now accepting new music for our show. Also, if you have any music requests, send those in as well. Hit us up at the Unfiltered Radio Show at gmail.com. That's the Unfiltered Radio Show at gmail.com. Send us that new fire and let us make some joyful noise for the kingdom, y'all.
Hey y'all, you're back live here on Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee, Uncle Ron, which is me, and with Larrell. Now, I really enjoyed Mr. Champion's testimony. That was powerful stuff. And, you know, not only do we need to keep our minds clean and our minds sharp, we need to be good on our health and being mindful that what we take in, and because, you know, we can go in church and we can shout and we can eat chicken and all that, but at the end of the day, what are you really benefiting from it other than high blood pressure, and the list goes on? That's pretty much all I have to say on that.
Right. I mean, that's why you heard me discuss with him that, you know, God can use anybody, but I think that you don't put yourself to optimum use when you're not healthy. Because, you know, if you don't really feel like going to do what God has called you to do, even if you're just going to work, regular job, it's important to feel good. It's important, you know, to be in good mind and good spirit and be, you know, at a healthy weight where you can get around. And I know some people get offended by that, but my whole thing is everybody, you know, has a start somewhere. So, you know, instead of, like he said, he was defeated, but he got up and started doing what he's supposed to do. So instead of being defeated, I just think that you got to take testimonies like this and let that marinate in your spirit and apply it to what you're trying to do. Because listen, where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to do it, you can do it. And that's one thing I know. Now, you know, because everybody ain't blessed to be slim like Uncle Ron and Larrell, you know.
Yeah, but that, just because you slim don't mean you healthy either, too. I think a lot of people think that when you when you skinny.
Good
like,
point.
when I'm skinny, I ain't got to work out nothing. You have high blood pressure, diabetes, all that stuff. Still got to eat right when you slim. Like we talked about last week with all this stuff that's in the food, too. We just got to be cautious of what we eating in general with this GMO and all this stuff. And
right,
a lot of the stuff that they say that's good, that's not really good. Like you got to be extra precautious.
You know, also, when you just mentioned that, it made me think about something. Someone, after the show last week, I got a couple of people send me some stuff, man. So I'm going to have to do a part 2 of that because there was another video clip that someone sent me that was like even more interesting than the one we played last week. So like we really got to do some stuff on this, man, because what we eating is not at all healthy every time. Sometimes you got to make sure that you're getting it from the source that it says coming from. I can't wait to play that. We're going to do that in the next couple of weeks. So, all right, before we go, man, let's have some fun. Let's do some of these infamous Facebook words of the week before we get out of here. So Uncle Ron, take it away, man. What you got for us?
Well, our first one, well, somebody obviously was at home and they weren't feeling well, and they said that they were stuck at home with the flu and they about to get some Father John or castor oil. Not sure what castor oil is. I think I know what Father John is. That's a Catholic priest, but nevertheless.
So wait a minute. So Father John ain't got no S on it. Father John.
No, Father John.
Yeah, you want to get some Father John? Ain't it Father John's?
Yeah, with an apostrophe and an S. How about that? And then there's another one out there, and he says, "I'd rather have Jesus than silver, SIVVR, and gold, GOAL."
Gold?
Gold, like, you know, reaching for gold.
I'm done.
But, hey.
I'd rather have you.
There's more.
Silver and gold. Silver and gold, Doc. Y'all crazy.
There's more.
Goodness,
Hit it.
man.
This one says, there's this new fruit out. It's called pomegranate.
That's the most stupid, man. Oh, man, we need dictionaries. We got to do better as a people.
Oh, God. You know what? That's enough because we don't stop. We can go on all night. Y'all know we ain't got no sense.
That's like SCENTS.
No.
SINCE.
I see one here. It said, Ernest J. I am astonished and amazed at how the Lord have blessed you.
In a maze.
Oh, wait. It's saying, I hope you stay focused and determined to do the right thing, right, WRITE, thing with all the Lord have entrust you with. Please do not let him down and make him shame. I will keep in my thought and praise. Be steadfast and unmoved. Always abound in the Lord.
Good night.
Well, just remember, be and stay dedicated to his purpose.
You know, Uncle Ron.
What?
Sweet dream. We gotta go, y'all. Good night. Be back next week, y'all. Stay up. Peace.
Deuces.
I'm tired of living beneath my moon, yeah. Disgusted with some of the things that I've seen. Hey, the enemy has stolen what belongs to me. Oh, I'm determined to reach my destiny, so I decree. Going back there, no, no. Fight for, yeah. I won't be shackled to this pain no more. I'm walking into my victory, yeah. I'm pushing towards my destiny, yeah. That your life will be nothing but victory, nothing but good health. Every day your life, said I decree.